Tahmid is diagnosed with leukemia. Family is requesting dua of Shifa. Please note time change. Fajr 6:15, Isha 8 o'clock. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. While the adhan is being called, brothers and sisters, humble request for all of you if you could please move forward. The sisters also upstairs, if there is a spot in front of you, please move forward and fill in that void, inshallah.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
الحمد لله وحده والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده صلوات الله وسلامه على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم أما بعد رب يسر ولا تعسر وتمم بالخير وبك نستعين يا فتاح رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي ربي زدني علما والحقني بالصالحين سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم سبحانك لا فهم لنا إلا ما فهمتنا إنك أنت الجواد الكريم. My dear respected elders, brothers and sisters in Islam, we have before us today an emergency of epic proportions. No, this is not a national emergency. It is a global one. One that is wreaking havoc on our world and causing destruction in all corners. It is the weed that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam saw to be the hindrance in our growth and the unity of us all as one community, being one ummah. It was a message that he drove home for 23 years of his prophethood, and he pledged to the people to detest it likewise. It was part of his human rights charter. It was a wall that he broke, a practice that He abolished, a trend that He discontinued, and a way of life that He put the death spell to. Sadly, my dear friends, I stand before you today, and the truth is that it has been resurrected. It has begun to trend once more. It has built walls and barriers between people of one creation. And it has been normalized once again. What hurts me most is that this thing is alive and kicking within the heart of the Muslim community itself. The shame of our failure begins here. For the problem is here. And the end to it can only come when we begin to tackle it here. Our failure to seize it will only further open up the path to destruction, to our destruction. For Allah is not with those who harm the creation. Racism, prejudice, tribalism, nationalism, all result from hate, and each branch described stemmed from one individual due to one particular disease. This disease, when least expected, can affect the highest of us to the lowest of us, the noblest of us to the ungodly. But before I point out this disease and the culprit who brought it to existence, I want to tune into it until I hit the roots. I want to go from the branches to the roots. Racism. The civil rights movement may be subject that is read and taught in our schools through history books. But the problem is one that our society is continuing to battle even today. The question that I ask myself when I see the normalization of racism within our communities is, did Allah want it to be that way? Did Allah want us to be racist one to another? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Himself says in the Holy Quran in chapter number 49, verse number 13, يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل. The O people, I have created you. Verily I have created you from one male and one female, and have made you into nations and tribes. So is it possible that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us in this way so that we can express our venomous hate and racism towards one another? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then says in the same verse, وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ لِتَعَارَفُوا. Not لِتَفَارَقُوا, لِتَعَارَفُوا. He did not say that I created you into nations and tribes so that you could separate from one another. Rather, He said, I've done this through my divine wisdom so that you could get to know one another. These differences within us is by His divine decree. It's not something He made a mistake on. Rather, He defines it as a sign from Himself. In chapter number 30, verse number 22, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ خَلْقُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَاخْتِلَافُ أَلْسِنَتِكُمْ وَأَلْوَانِكُمْ إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَاتٍ لِلْعَالَمِينَ. And amongst His signs is the creation of the heavens and the earth, and the difference of your languages and of your colors. You speak different languages. It's a sign. The shade of your skin is a different color. It's His sign. Verily, in that are indeed signs for those who know. The question is, do we want to know? Now, if Allah has made us in these different shades with different tongues, who is better and who is worse? Because at the end of the day, in sports, there's standings. In Fortune 500 companies, there is ranks. In the most affluent people or influential people in the world, there is numbers. So there has to be some criteria here. Come on. Let's be real. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts forth that criteria. Inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. That the preference, the criterion of preference of who is better in the standings of race is the one who is most God-fearing. And since this is something that the human eye and the human mind cannot detect or acknowledge, we leave it to Allah. وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ وَحَمَلْنَاهُمْ فِي الْبَرِّ وَالْبَحْرِ وَرَزَقْنَاهُمْ مِنَ الطَّيِّبَاتِ وَفَضَّلْنَاهُمْ عَلَى كَثِيرٍ مِّمَّنْ خَلَقْنَا تَفْضِيلًا. In Surah Isra, chapter 17, verse 70, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states, we have certainly honored the children of Adam. We carried them on the land and the sea, and we provided them of the good things and preferred them over much of what we have created with definite preference. Allah is saying there is a ranking. That ranking is something that only He knows and He could see. But until then, every one of you is honored by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hence, there is no my people, your people, their people. We are all one people. Remember one thing, brothers and sisters. Regardless if it's a cricket match or a soccer game, when we speak this language in front of our children, which we have already normalized amongst ourselves, we are making a big effect in how we make others think. Politically, two countries could be divided, but the terminology that we and them has to end. Because these words are the seeds that root extremism and racism and prejudice. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam made it very clear. Truly, your blood, your property, your honor is inviolable. No one can violate the right, the honor, the blood, the property of another Muslim. And that violation is happening full-fledged in our Muslim communities. Remember one thing. I don't care, and I'm sure Allah doesn't care how loud your voices are or how far your chants could reach when we speak about inequality and injustices in this world. If you can't figure out the injustices perpetrated within your community, you are a failure. Your voice has no credibility. Your actions are in vain. Once a man visited the mosque of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He saw a group of the people of faith sitting down discussing together. Amongst them was Salman, who was from Persia. Suhaib, who grew up in the Eastern Roman Empire, many regard him to be Greek, and Bilal, who was African. The man said, if the Medinan tribes of Aus and Khazraj support Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they are his people. That is, they are Arabs like him. What are these people doing here? I.e., Aus and Khazraj called Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his people, meaning the Arabs help the Arabs. What is the black and white doing here? The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam became so angry that it is reported that he went straight to the mosque. He summoned people to salah, and then he addressed them, and I quote to you his words, O people, know that your Lord and Sustainer is one. Your ancestor is one. Your faith is one. The Arabism of any one of you is not from your mother or father. It is no more than a tongue, i.e. language. Whoever speaks Arabic is an Arab. He sets the tone right away. He didn't let it slide. He didn't say, we'll talk about it next Friday. He didn't say, when we do our next khatra or halaqah, we'll discuss this. No, he went straight to the mosque. And he sets the record straight. Let no one feel that because I am Arab, I am better than a non-Arab. That was the situation in his mosque at that moment, and he addressed it. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ would rebuke his own companions if they ever denigrated people because of race. They were Sahaba. They were the companions of Rasulullah ﷺ. They held and they hold a status of nobility higher than the most pious one amongst us at this time. So we find from Abu Umama radiallahu ta'ala that Abu Dar once reproached Bilal radiallahu anh saying, "O son of a black woman, O son of a black woman." So Bilal radiallahu ta'ala went to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam became so angry. He went to Abu Dar and he said, "Anta alladhi tu'ayyiru Bilalan bi ummih." Have you reproached Bilal about his mother? Is that how low you went? That you reproached your friend, your companion by his mother? The Prophet ﷺ then said, وَالَّذِي أَنزَلَ الْكِتَابَ عَلَى مُحَمَّدٍ صلى الله عليه وسلم مَا لِأَحَدٍ عَلَيَّ فَضْلٌ إِلَّا بِعَمَلٍ إِنْ أَنْتُمْ إِلَّا كَصَفِّ الصَّاعِ. That by the one who revealed the book to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, none is more virtuous over another except by righteous deeds. You have none but an insignificant amount. From blackface to name calling to demonizing and discrediting, racism today has become the plague. You will hear, if you listen carefully, our own children and the comments that they pass on one another. Racism is alive and kicking. And if I accept it to be part and parcel of who we are in the world today, you have told the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that the 23 years of your message and prophethood should go in the garbage. Because I don't believe any of it. Because I want to be what I want to be. You could say whatever you said. If that hurts, then know that the words of racism hurt more. What else as we cut these branches down? Family pride. My family. We. Us. The Prophet ﷺ said, let people stop boasting about their ancestors. One is only a pious believer or a miserable sinner. All men are sons of Adam, and Adam came from dust. Tribalism. Tribalism, i.e. asabiyya, is forbidden in Islam. Jubair ibn Mut'im radiallahu anhu reports that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, لَيْسَ مِنَّا مَنْ دَعَا إِلَىٰ عَصَبِيَّةٍ وَلَيْسَ مِنَّا مَنْ قَاتَلَ عَلَىٰ عَصَبِيَّةٍ وَلَيْسَ مِنَّا مَنْ مَاتَ عَلَىٰ عَصَبِيَّةٍ. He is not one of us who calls to tribalism. He is not one of us who fights for the sake of tribalism. He is not one of us who dies following the ways of tribalism. The day we will succeed is the day that we change our ways. إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُغَيِّرُ مَا بِقَوْمٍ حَتَّى يُغَيِّرُوا مَا بِأَنفُسِهِمْ. I come to Friday prayers and I speak and I listen so that I can change myself first. Because change will happen when I change myself first. We mock one another, even of one country, because of where we see the other stand. The Prophet ﷺ said, they're not from us. I.e., you can take yourself and go. You're not part of what Islam is about. I call on all of you to read the letter of Malcolm X, which he wrote from Makkah Mukarramah. And I'll quote to you one brief paragraph. America needs to understand Islam because this is the one religion that erases from its society the race problem. Throughout my travels in the Muslim world, I have met, talked to, and even eaten with people who in America would have been considered white. But the white attitude was removed from their minds by the religion of Islam. I have never before seen sincere and true brotherhood practiced by all colors together, irrespective of their color. End quote. On your way home today, ask the person sitting in the passenger seat to Google Malcolm X's letter and read it. Have them read it to you. Read it over the dinner table tonight. And know that your religion isn't a religion of building worshippers. It was a religion to exterminate misconstrued ideologies which will plague humanity and destroy us from the homes that we live in. So we talked about racism, family pride, tribalism. What is the source? What is the disease that I alluded to in the beginning of the khutbah? And who is the perpetrator? The disease is self-supremacy. And the perpetrator is Iblis Mal'oon himself, the devil. He is the one who first sowed the seed of self-supremacy when he said in the Holy Quran, and quoted him, Ana khayrum min. I'm better than him. خَلَقْتَنِي مِن نَارٍ وَخَلَقْتَهُ مِن طِينٍ. Allah, you created me from fire. You created him from dirt. Forgetting that it was the same Allah that created the both of them. The first racist, prejudiced, self-supremacist was the devil. So my fellow Muslims, be careful who you imitate in your life. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, whoever has pride in his heart equal to the weight of an atom shall not enter paradise. Whoever has pride equal to an atom in their heart shall not enter paradise. What does pride have to do with racism? The hadith goes on when he explains that pride means rejecting the truth because of self-esteem and looking down on people. I call on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive us, to purify us, to guide us, to direct us toward the ways of Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and make us the solution that our world so desperately is in seek of. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا من يهدي الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا أما بعد. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, to keep ourselves clean while cleaning our society from the minutest details of racism and self-supremacy is a teaching embedded in almost all the practices that we do on a daily basis. For example, in one hadith, the Prophet ﷺ says, keep your rows in prayer straight and do not stand crooked, or Allah will then allow the devil to turn your heart. When we stand in prayer, that in itself is an exercise, a regimen of uniting hearts, removing pride and self-supremacy, seeing the person next to you when they say, Sami Allahu liman hamida, that they are also like you and they are you and actually they are better than you. Islam takes us from I am better to everyone is better than I. The only place the word I should be used is in the sentence that I just stated. Everyone is better than I. We stand with people of colors. We say salam to nations. We unite ourselves as one ummah. This is the theory which convinced a noted historian, Professor A.J. Toynbee, in 1948 to say, and I quote you his words, "The extinction of race consciousness as between Muslims is one of the outstanding achievements in Islam. And in the contemporary world, there is, as it happens, a crying need for the propagation of this Islamic virtue." And I quote, "Nay, but we have fallen today. From the rise of white supremacy in the West to enslavement of the Asians in parts of Arabia and the Uyghur crisis in China. They are all not the problem. I am the problem. I gave way for such to happen. Now it is my duty to change it." In the Xinjiang province, over 1 million Muslims, Uyghur Muslims, are in internment camps in China. No, this isn't history. This is not the time of Hitler. This is a repeat of what happened during the reign of Hitler. According to the United Nations, this is happening. It is factual, and their claim is they are rooting out religious extremism from these Uyghur Muslims. Their children have been taken to orphanages where they have been forced to change their religion. Their women have been forced to live with Chinese communists in their own homes. The Chinese government admitted to this and said that they are guests in the Uyghur homes. They were a land of East Turkestan which was occupied 70 years ago. And that Xinjiang province means a new colony. Today it is taking a shape of genocide according to the United Nations. When I don't fix myself, the world will crumble around me. And it will be my fault and no one else's fault. As a professor stated in 1948, you have the solution, O Muslims. Your solution is your mark of your credit, your authenticism, your greatness. Why aren't you doing it? Why don't you hold it with pride and say, we are the religion. We are the people that rooted out all this racism and prejudice and tribalism. We did not fraction humanity. We brought humanity together once more. Regardless if they're Christian, regardless if they were Jews, regardless if they were pagans, Islam protected everyone. Today we can't protect the one sitting next to us. So my dear friends, in order for minds to change and for goodness to flourish, we need to first help one another get through the problems that we're facing now. Our personal dilemmas and our communal problems. We need to help us help each other so that we can help our world. And that is why, my dear friends, starting tonight, a 2-day conference will be taking place here at our center. This conference, known as SITE, has drawn the attention of people of all religions and backgrounds coming in from this state and also from out of state. A school bus of children from Oklahoma are coming tonight, to join a conference in your masjid known as SITE, prepared by our children with great scholars and great mental health professionals, because Islam is the solution, and in due time we represent that solution. Through this mental health crisis, as we will address it, we will build the foundation to address the global health crisis of supremacy and all its branches. Tonight we will be meeting from 6 to 10 and tomorrow from 2 to 10. Registration is still open. I call on all of you parents to ensure that your teenagers are registered for this conference. You could go on the kiosk after the khutbah and register your children. It is $13 right now. It will be $15 on the door. And tonight, after Isha prayer at 8 p.m., I will be speaking with the parents in regards to the mental health stigma. There's no fee for it. I call on all of you for us to understand the problems that are festering within our home, to help our children to become good humans, to become successful humans, to become successful Muslims and leaders that Allah sent them to be on this earth. We send salutations and blessings upon Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wasallam, who guided us and mentored us, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Quran, Inna Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala al-nabi ya ayyuhalladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik ala sayyidina Muhammad abdika wa rasulika an-nabiy al-ummi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa baraka wa sallama tasliman kathiran kathira. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت وتولنا فيمن توليت وبارك لنا فيما أعطيت وقنا يا ربنا واصرف عنا شر ما قضيت فإنك تقضي بالحق ولا يقضى عليك إنه لا يعز من عاديت ولا يذل من واليت تباركت ربنا وتعاليت لك الحمد على ما قضيت ولك الشكر على ما أعطيت نستغفرك اللهم من جميع الذنوب والخطايا ونتوب إليك اللهم اشف مرضانا وعاف مبتلانا وارحم موتانا يا رب العالمين آمين يا رب العالمين آمين يا رب العالمين آمين يا رب العالمين إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون فاذكروا الله يذكركم وادعوه يستجب لكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون. Please ensure that our lines are straight, stand shoulder to shoulder, the edge of our